Welcome back to another episode. And today we're going to talk about manifestation and why sometimes for us it takes longer to get what we desire. In this journey, I have learned so many things. I thought I was putting myself to learn personal growth, healing traumas, and all of that because I needed that for me. I needed to expand my business. When I first started, I thought I just need money. I just need the clients. I just need to expand. I just needed to grow. That's all I need. But as I walked through the journey, I realized I needed more than that. It was so many things, so many pieces that I was missing, not because they were gone, not because I did not have them, but because I was blind to them. I thought I needed to go to different seminars, read different books, invest more in business strategy, in advertising, and all these things. And I did. I invested in all those things. And they helped me. They helped me because I started to unlock the things that they were keeping me blind, the things from my past that I have not released yet. And I realized that it was many times I was making the decisions out of fear, where many of us were making those decisions out of fear, out of anger, out of not feeling good enough. And we don't realize it because we never question our past. We never questions our beliefs because we think that everything that we're doing and who we are is us. And I realized that is not true. When you don't question those beliefs, you're taking actions, you're making decisions based upon your past, based upon what your parents told you was right, based upon what your neighbor made you feel, the people around you, your environment where you grew up. You're making decisions based upon that past, but not on what's actually happening now. When I started questioning those things, everything changed for me. I started reading my Bible and I found something profound for me. Some people might not believe this, but my theory is this: my mind is the Father, my heart is the Son, my body is the Holy Spirit. God is living in me. And I used to hear that phrase all the time in the church, people who reads the Bible, Christian people, eh, everybody, I think they said that God lives in me. I opened the door to God. And I even said it myself. I was going to church, I was reading my Bible, I was doing all these Christian things that we're supposed to do. But I realized I was not even like scratching the surface. I was still asleep. I was still dead. I was just moving into automatic. I was still in the pain. I didn't even realize I was doing that. I was allowing God to work in certain areas of my life, but in others I felt that God was not good enough. Not because I said it, but because my actions said that. And many of us were living that way, where we said that God is big, that my God can do anything, that I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me. But that's what we said. That's what the mind thinks. We even memorize those words, but we don't feel it. Our heart doesn't feel that. Our body doesn't feel that. And I believe that when the mind, which for me is the Father, thinks and gives the command, the heart, because Christ is not there, it doesn't want to obey the command. And because it doesn't obey the command, it cannot manifest, meaning the spirit, our body, cannot take action. because it's still frozen, frozen from the lies of the past, frozen from the traumas, frozen for what our parents told us that that's how life is. And so we need to question those things. Is it really true? What is God saying about me? And then as I start questioning those things and reading more my Bible, I realized, and I even shared this with my husband, this is why the Word of God says the salvation is individually. It's not something that somebody can do for you or you can do for someone else. It's something that you have to work on your own. You have to work your own salvation. And I realized, oh my gosh, it's so true because it doesn't matter what other people do. You cannot control other people, but you can control yourself. You can start working on your mind. You can start working on your heart. You can start working on your actions, on your integrations. And many of us, we know a lot. We have a lot of knowledge. We read a lot of books. We have mentors. We have all these seminars that we go to. And we learn and learn and learn and learn. But it's not just about learning, it's really emptying yourself from everything. Imagine a container full of trash and you got to dump it out. You got to clean that container. So if you want to put something different, something clean, that container needs to be washed. It needs to be clean. And many of us don't like to do that because that cleaning is painful. It hurts because you got to go back to your past. You have to forgive people. You have to forgive yourself. And you have to not just forgive with words, with understanding of what that person did to you and said, I'm okay with that. But working in it in a way that you feel it, that it creates that emotion and that your body takes action in that emotion. And that's hard. And that's why many of us, we'd rather put more information in our mind. We'd rather learn more. And once we know more, we criticize someone else. And we said that person is wrong. This other person is wrong. Because now we became more knowledgeable, but in action, we're not doing it. We become teachers because we can't work our own salvation. We can't work our own mess. So we become teachers. And it's a saying that it says, those who cannot do, teach. Because they can't do it. So they rather teach and they rather learn more because that keeps them from looking inside. And that's what I learned through this journey. I'm like, I don't want to learn more. I want to know how to fix this. So I start going into prayer and meditation. Like, what is keeping me blocking my business? What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing? It's not about learning more because prior to this, prior to finding this out, I was reading every day different books. Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Earl Nightingale, so many other people, Tony Robbins, The Power of Decision. And I was just with so much information, podcasts. I went through 3 mentors and I was still feeling the same feeling. So one day I just said, I opened my Bible. I remember I started reading the book of Jeremiah. And when I started reading the book, it was showing me how his life, similar to what I was going through in the beginning, it was it was like a mirror to me. And I said, oh, it's not about learning more, but it's about learning to surrender and to be in communion with the creator. Okay, well, I don't know how to do that. And I remember my husband telling me, what is happiness for you? And I didn't know what to answer. He said, how is feeling fulfilled looks to you? And I didn't know what to answer. And he also asked me another question: when is enough for you? I didn't know what to answer. But you know what I did? I went into my meditation room and I talked to God. And I said, Lord, I don't know what happiness feels. I don't know what peace feels. I don't even know why I'm looking for the things I'm looking for. I don't even know how to explain these things, but help me. Help me remember. If I already knew those things before and I forgot because there's so many things that happen in life, help me remember how peace feels. Because I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm doing everything, and I have done everything. I have done the strategies. I have learned the things about personal growth. I feel like I'm doing them, and I'm putting I feel everything into practice, but it's not working. And I'm getting frustrated. And now I'm feeling angry, and I feel like I'm sacrificing and I feel like I'm sacrificing so much. And God, when is going to be my time? You have seen my life. You have seen everything that I had put out there, even when I didn't want to. But it's still, I feel like disconnection. Help me. The next day, I got up. And normally I will be rushing to get ready for work, doing all this stuff. That day I wasn't rushing. I was just making sure every step I took, I was consciously taking that step. And I went outside, and for the first time, I felt the breeze, the air, like I have never felt it before. I drank my coffee, I went to work, and while I was driving, I was smiling. And I was like, I'm not concerned about anything. I'm not worried about nothing. And I don't even know why. My mind is not thinking about anything. And I was shocked because normally I'm like thinking about what am I going to do the next step? I'm going to do this job. This other person has to do this. My husband has to do that. My kids, everybody. It's like in my mind, I already walked the whole day. This time it was different. This time it was not like that. I was just looking at the sky, looking at the trees. And all day I felt that way. And people even ask me, "Are you okay? You seem like your body is here present, but your mind is somewhere else. And like you're seeing things and you're smiling. I don't know why." And I said, "I'm okay." On my way home, I was driving, feeling the breeze. And I just started crying. And I said, "Lord, thank you. Thank you for answering my prayer. Because now I feel peace. I feel free. I feel different. I have never felt this before. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me how it feels." And I made a decision at that time. I made a decision that it was so important to me that I didn't even know how to make it, but I made it at that moment. And I didn't make it hoping that I will get this result, hoping that I will get this other result, or with the fear of failing that, or that it might not happen. I just did it. And the answer, it was more than I expected. It was something that I didn't even know how to describe. And when my husband gave me the good news, he said, "This happened. I didn't know you already made the decision on this, but they told me that You're going to get this, that. And I just got onto my knees and I started crying. And I said, this is what you're calling me to do. Not to make the decisions from fear, not to be attached to the outcome, not to continue to strive to be this person or that person, or to get this or to get that, or look at that person what is doing and I'm behind, or why am I not getting this? But to surrender. Surrender. And it starts with, what do you want? What is your desire? And then after you decide in your mind, because your mind gives the command, now your mind is going to make your heart feel. And that feeling will create an emotion, whether it's anger or it's happiness. It depends on what your mind is thinking. That's why it's so important that we give our mind healthy stuff. If we want to sow or we want to reap something great, we have to put something great in our mind. And I learned that the hard way, because I used to believe that who wants to listen to me? Who cares about me? Nobody does what I ask them to do. But that's what I think. And that feeling created an emotion. And that emotion of, I don't feel like I'm good enough. And guess what I create? People who manifested that not feeling enough. So that's why it's important that if you want to manifest something, say it. Think about it. What is it? But start to sink it into your heart. What do you feel? And if you feel angry, let's just say you want your employees to listen to you. That's what you want. And at the moment, you know that's what you want, but you feel frustrated. You feel angry. What's the opposite of anger? Happiness. And at the beginning, you kind of have to fake it until you make it. Start to say something positive about the person. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on what they do good. What do your employees do? They might come in late, but what is one thing that they don't do that is negative? And think about it. Some employees might come in late, but they're really good at what they do. So try to focus on that and make a decision on that feeling that you feel, the positive feeling. Because when you feel happy, you feel fulfilled, you feel whole, you feel the spirit of God, not the spirit of fear. Because remember, God says, I did not give you the spirit of fear. So discard that and do it from happiness, from joy, from love. It might not be happening yet, but that's why we want to make a decision from this happy place, because that's what we want to manifest. And many of us don't do that. And that's why we look at it and say, how can that person is already got what they wanted and I don't? Well, because you got glitches. You have only a part of the equation, but the other part you don't have it. Some people they completely don't do anything and they feel the world is against them and they blame the government, they blame the people, their parents, their brothers and their sisters, their neighbor, and they're victims because they don't even think about something different. They keep thinking the same thing. So they have not even made a decision, which is in the other podcast that I have posted. If you have not watched it, go watch that podcast. It's about the power of decision. First, you got to make the decision. After you make a decision, you start to put in writing what is your desire. What desire do you have? That's when we start making that new decision of that desire. Now you have the desire. Now you're gonna start picturing or visualizing how is that feel? How is that feel to have a new child? Or how is that feel to have a child? How is it feel to have a great partner? How does it feel to have great employees, to have a big company, to have more money, and start feeling it? What emotion that feeling makes? What is the emotion? Do you feel happy? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel, I don't know, motivated? What do you feel? Because when you make a decision based on what you feel, that's what you're going to create, because you're going to take an action on that feeling. Because if you feel down, what action you're going to make? Going to bed, not doing anything. You're going to sit on a couch and watch TV, scroll on your phone. But when you feel that feeling of your desire, you're going to make the decision based upon your outcome that you want. And so that's the other part that sometimes we skip. Sometimes we got it figured it out. Okay, I have to think, what do I want? Why do I want it? Okay, I got it. Now I have to feel it. Okay, got it. It creates the emotion of happiness. It creates the emotion that I can do it all, that I'm good enough. Okay, got it. Now take the action. And this is the hardest thing for many people. When I took the step to integrate those pieces, it was the hardest thing because I wanted to expand my business. But when I start to integrate the pieces of, okay, I already know I wanted to expand my business. I got it here. I feel it. I feel happy. The emotion is happiness. But now to integrate it means, okay, start to interview people. And that's what many of us, we don't want to do that. We just put an ad saying, hey, we need help for tomorrow. We hire on the spot. And then we complain how that person, it doesn't work out. They come in late. They don't want to do what we ask them to do. But manifestation of what you want, it requires for you to be responsible, for you to have discipline, meaning you have to work all those things out with yourself first. Before you give it to someone else to respect those boundaries or to have those things that you want done, you have to get them done. And if you can't get them done, then don't expect somebody else to get them done, because you're just manifesting who you are, what you're feeling, what actions you're taking. And so that's why I said many of us, we want these grandiose things, but we don't want to make the change. When it's time to do that integration, we're not willing to do it. And I'm telling you something, like I used to be this person who doesn't like to speak on camera. I used to be afraid to share these things that I'm sharing with you. These things that I'm sharing with you, these topics, I was so afraid to share until I was helping this lady. And she said, why don't you teach that on social media? That's very important because you helped me a lot in my business. And I'm thankful that you came around in my life because I didn't even know what I was doing wrong. I just felt like I was stuck. And when you said that you felt the same way, but you changed your life, I was like, I wonder how she did it. And when you explained it to me and you worked it out with me, I realized that I was not taking the right steps. And she said, you should do that on social media. And I said, no, not on social media. I'm okay doing it this way. My husband is the one who teaches. And I remember her saying, well, could that be that you want a different outcome for you, but you're not integrating the pieces that you need to integrate? And that really kind of struck my heart. And I said, now the student is teaching. And she said, yeah, because you're teaching me, but you have not worked that part on you. And I realized that I wanted to help other people, but I was not willing to use my voice. Not wanted to put myself out there. I was saying I want to help other people, and I feel that if I help other people, less people are going to be in the situation that I was. But when it was the point, okay, speak, I will back out. I will say, no, that's not for me. I can't do that. I don't want to be in camera. And that's the part of the manifestation that we completely block. Because the manifestation is there to be shown. God already gave you all the steps, but then you said, no, that part is not for me. Not because you don't want to do it, but because there's fear behind that. And when you don't question that fear, it will continue to manifest in different areas of your life. In my situation, it was manifesting in my marriage. It was manifesting the way I was raising my kids, the way I was being a friend, the way I work. I was connecting with employees, with the providers, with everybody. It was fear all around me. And the moment that I started questioning that fear, even my friends said, you're not the same person. I wish I had this person from the beginning because now you're different. You're so much fun. You're not somebody who's hiding or feeling that it's not enough, or I can be open with you and I know you're okay with hearing what I have to say. Because before it was like, hey, I can't talk about that topic because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And it was not that. It made me feel uncomfortable because it was wounds from the past. It was traumas there that they will create the pain. And instead of addressing the pain, I will block that area of my life and say, no, I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't want to go with this person because it makes me feel this way and that way. And blaming the outside instead of looking inside. In life will bring you over and over and over people who can become your mirror, not because they want to hurt you, but because they want you to see who you really are. And those people don't even know that's what they're doing. But you know who sends them? God. God sends those people not to hurt you. They think they're hurting you, but God cannot allow them to hurt you if you're willing to take the step and transform that pain. And that's what I realized through my journey. I had a situation where people treat me really bad. And I was not going to say anything because I was afraid to speak up for myself because I was normally this woman that whatever people said, I was just not care, not said anything. And I thought I was doing it because I was being a professional. I thought I was doing it because I did not care. But the feeling behind it was fear. It's okay to do that as long as the feeling behind that is power, is feeling free, is feeling that you're making decision from wholeness, from being enough. If you make a decision, you know what, this person is talking garbage about me, I'm not going to engage into that, and you're making that decision from wholeness, that's okay. Don't engage with that. But when you're making that decision from fear, from feeling not enough, or that you're not worth it, that is not the right decision. And on that table, I remember that I always allowed people to do that. Well, at that moment, I felt like God, it was pushing me to say what I needed to say. And I spoke. I said what I needed to say without being angry, without cussing at people. And you know why? Because I realized that was my moment of test. Are you really integrating who you say you are? Are you saying that you're whole and you're healed? Show me. Speak without anger, without resentment. without cussing at somebody, but from wholeness, from your truth. And when I spoke, my whole body, it was shaking. Like I was literally shaking. Not because I was angry, not because I was frustrated, because for the first time, I was able to defend myself without blowing up on people, without crying, without having to leave the place. And the next day, I was so happy. And I didn't look at those people as they were mean or they're my enemies or I don't like them. No, I pray for them. And I said, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for putting people on my path that they wanted to hurt me, but you turned it for good. Whatever the Satan wanted to hurt me with, it cannot hurt me anymore because you protect me, because you shield me, because you heal me. And those wounds are no longer there. So they cannot hurt me anymore. And I'm sorry that they are still in pain. Help them see that they're not fighting with me, but they're fighting with themselves. Help them see that you can heal them too. The same way you heal me, you can heal them. And I don't hate them. I love them for what they did because they showed me something that I wasn't able to see myself. I was not able to question those things. So they became my mirrors. And I saw them the next day. I saw them and I was so happy. I literally wanted to hug them and tell them, thank you. Thank you for being the vessel of my pain. And I hope that I was being the vessel where you can see your pain and you can transform that pain because it's not healthy walking around lashing out on people, hurting other people. Not because you think you're hurting other people, because you're hurting yourself. By the things you're doing, you're sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging your relationships with people, with in your business. You're sabotaging your relationship because whenever somebody says something, you just react to it. Or you just get angry for something that it doesn't even have anything to do with you, but you feel that it does because you have not cure those wounds from the past. And when you start doing that, you no longer have to stand in front of the mirror and recite, I'm wealthy, I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm that. You now walk as you are that person because you think about it, because you feel it, and because you take action on those things that you already thought about it. Is no longer remember what is the right phrase to say in order to manifest. It's no longer that. I can tell you that I'm no longer waking up and I gotta say this, or I gotta read this book, or I gotta learn about this. It's no longer that. Now it's just walking at what I think God wants from me. God wants me to speak, I will speak. And the feeling, it has to come from awareness, from joy, from love, from kindness. Does that mean you're not going to get upset? Of course not. Of course, you're going to have time where you're going to get angry, where you're going to get frustrated. But those times are going to be shorter. Where before it took you all day to process your anger, to process your frustration, and to the point that you got a migraine, or you got a headache, or you were feeling sick. Now you're going to go into that time, but for less time. Because now you're going to be able to get yourself out of there. That person made you upset. Oh, yeah, I feel angry. Why they say this to me? Or how can this be sent to me after I help them? Or whatever you have to say. But then you remember, no, they didn't hurt me. They were just showing me something that I did not see. Because I can tell you when that happened with those people, I was angry. The Karen that you see here, it was angry. But then that anger went away when I started thinking, Creator, what do you want to show me here? What am I not seeing? And if it's my time to speak, give me the authority to speak. And guess what happened? That person asked me to speak. Do you want to say something? That's what they told me. Do you want to say something? And I felt that that was God saying, okay, you asked me if I wanted you to speak. There it is. There's the opportunity. Speak. And when I spoke, I didn't do it because they were hurting me. I did it because I was told to speak. I was told to exercise my voice. And that's when I start to realize, okay, it's not about manifesting on just thinking about it or just feeling it or just taking action. It's synchronizing all three of them: the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. That's what I needed to do. Imagine it's a song that you have to dance and you just got to follow the rhythm. That's all you have to do. You don't have to focus on the doing. You don't have to focus on the feeling. You don't have to focus on the thinking because that's what most of us do. Some of us, we get too attached to how am I going to do it? I don't have the money. I never done this. How this is possible? The mind. We get stuck on that and we never get to the feeling. Others get stuck into the feeling, but I feel like it's not good for me. But I feel that I might be failing on this. And other people are saying, well, I just got to do more. I just got to work more days, more hours. I just take more risk. I just need to get more strategies. And that's why we get exhausted because we work on them separate. We work on the mind separate, we work on the feeling separate, we work on the doing separate. And it's not about working it separate, it's working it in the equilibrium, in a rhythm. It's having that thought, and from that thought, create the emotion, and from that emotion, take the action. And you will see how your life it will start changing because now you're going to start being more conscious of what you think because now you know that everything you think you're going to feel and everything you feel you will manifest. So now you're going to be like, okay, what am I thinking today? Okay, cancel that thinking, never mind, I need to focus on this. And that is the battle that we fight every day. And that is the success. And that's why I tell people success is not something you achieve one day, or it's money, or it's home, or it's this, or success. You're already walking in it every day that you wake up. You're walking into success because if you don't align your mind, you don't align your thoughts, you don't align your feelings, you don't align your actions, guess what's going to happen? You're going to fail that day. But if you keep your thoughts aligned, align with the Creator, it will create the feeling, and that feeling will create the actions. And those actions will manifest what you desire little by little by little. And before you know, you got there. You walked the steps and you got to the top of the mountain because every day you decide to train your mind, to train your thoughts, to release what no longer serves you, to release what no longer is good for you. And that's how you create what you want to manifest. And that's why it's so important. The social media, it stays out of your process. Toxic people stays out of your process. Things or environments that they bring you those things that they keep you in the mindset of negativity, you have to be able to guard it. You have to guard your mind. And that's one of the hardest things. When I started this process, one of the things that I cut off was social media. I don't do social media like I used to do it. I used to do lives every day for 1 to 2 hours or probably longer. I don't do that anymore because I realize that when God is going to bless you, He's going to bless you because you're walking right behind Him. You're aligning with Him. It's not what you're going to create in the hashtags you put on. It's not about how many lives you do. It's not about how many people they know you, but it's about what is the heart in you to do what you're doing. And God is in charge to align everything. God is your algorithm, is your hashtags, it's everything, is your connections. He's the one that does that. Your job is to guard your mind, to align your thoughts, to align your heart, to align your actions to what God is calling you to be. That's all your job is. Everything else, He's in charge. And you have to find a better way, a healthy way to be on social media and to devote more time to yourself and to the creator. And you start doing that little by little by little, you will see, like, oh my gosh, why did I not do that before? Because now I see that myself. I start to have more time for me, more time for my kids, more time for God. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know this before? But I start learning that going through the process myself, not just depend upon books, podcasts, or mentors, but depend upon God. I ask God to mentor me, show me directly what it is, even if it's painful. I remember one time that I was going through the process, and one of the process, it was very hard for me, hard to uncover everything that it was underneath and all of that. And so the next day I went into prayer and I said to the Creator, I said, God, please be gentle with me. You know, I ask you to be my direct mentor, the one who shows me, even if it hurts. But last time it was very painful. Show me your ways, but this time just be gentle with me and have patience for me because sometimes I get stuck on my own ways. I know you can do that for me. I'm trying. Because in my prayers, I don't speak to God as something that is distance from me. I speak to Him like I would speak to my best friend, like I would speak to my father, like I would speak to my mother. I speak to Him like He's right there. I came here to tell you what's happening with me. I came here to tell you where it hurts. And now I feel that I'm closer to Him, not in a way of judging other people, but in a way I'm closer to Him because now I can feel the peace that I never felt. I can feel the contentment that I never felt. That, that I'm okay. That whatever happens, I'm okay. It's a song that I sing every morning. When I get up, that's the first song that I sing. That no matter if I'm surrounded by you. And that's what I tell Him every day. If I see things that they're not going the way I wanted to go or I expected them to go, remind me that I am surrounded by you, that I'm not alone. And when I feel full of joy, full of peace, when I feel that everything is going my way, also remind me that I'm surrounded by you. That no matter what's happening around me, good or bad, that those things don't matter. That that's not important because you are surrounding me. That nothing is good and nothing is bad. because you are here. And that's all that matters. And since I started living that way, it changed. It changed for me because now I'm not too concerned about if this happened, if that doesn't happen, because I know he's here. I'm not alone. So if you wanted to manifest the life that you want, the desires that you want, is start working on yourself. Is start working on the God that is in you. Is start opening the door, truly opening the door. Not halfway, not just one door and keeping the other one closed. No, open all three doors. Open all of them and said, you are welcome to now be here. Show me the way. Show me how do I need to walk. I hope this helped you as it helped me and it helped my husband and other people that I have shared with it. I hope it helped you. Leave it in a comment how it changed. Have you heard of this or have you done it before? Drop it in a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Remember, it's not about just doing one thing, but it's about synchronizing the God in us.